Hi everyone, it's Clyde at Vibrant Soap. Except for this time, it's not a soap making video, it's a cooking video, and I'm making my cinnamon rolls. I've been making this the same way now for quite a long time, so it's sort of tried and true, and it always works out for me. But it didn't always work out for me. I had to find the right recipe, and I found this recipe so that I didn't have to do everything in the morning, so I could have guests over and not have to let it rise twice. The other thing about this recipe is you don't have to proof the yeast. You can just toss it right in, mix it up, put it in the refrigerator, and it comes out almost ready to go the next morning. So the other thing about this recipe is that it cooks really evenly. The outside is perfect and the inside's not too gooey. It's a really tasty recipe too. So I hope you watch it and I hope you enjoy it. Let's get started. So I have all my ingredients all measured and ready to go. Makes it a lot more easy to get it all together. Got my cooking thermometer also, salt, sugar, and shortening. Now I'm going to first start by scalding the milk, which means I'm just going to bring it to a little simmer. Try to watch it really carefully, just changing the proteins here so that it works well with the recipe. And I added some shortening. Just waiting for that to melt and helping it along by stirring it. And then I'm going to just take it off the heat. I have 3 eggs and I'm going to break them into this bowl, beat them slightly, and I'm going to combine the 7 tablespoons of sugar and 1 teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to combine them until it's well incorporated. Once that's well blended, I'm going to add that to my scalded milk mixture, which is about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I'm going to add 2 more teaspoons of sugar. And right after this, I'm going to add the yeast. And I use 2 packets of yeast. It ends up being pretty close to 4 teaspoons of yeast. I'm going to add that mix to my mixer. And then I'm going to add 4.5 cups of flour, a little at a time and on slow speed so that the flour doesn't puff up everywhere. I started with my regular paddle there, but then I'm going to change over to my kneading hook to complete the kneading. Now what I'm looking for is a nice smooth dough, so this has a ways to go yet. I'm still incorporating more flour, and then I'm going to change from my mixer blade to a dough hook so that it can knead it a little better. Then you're going to see the dough develop into a nice smooth ball, and this is supposed to be about 5 minutes of kneading. You can watch it though, you can see when it's pulled together nicely. That dough is looking pretty good. It's smooth, it's elastic. I'm going to scrape that off the kneading hook. And then I'm going to transfer it to Tupperware bowl. Try to get every last bit of it. I'm going to pop it into the refrigerator for overnight. So my work's done for this day. Now it's morning, taking it out of the refrigerator so that I can work with it. I'm going to use 1.5 sticks of butter and get that on the stove to get that melted. And while that's melting slowly, I'm going to flour up my breadboard and roll out the dough. I usually like my cinnamon roll dough to be a rectangle that's about 16 wide and about 9 inches high. I like the length from left to right, so it's all ready for me to put some butter on and roll up. So I'm rolling it from the center out and got to work with it a little bit because it's a little bit of a firm dough. So that's all shaped. There, the butter is all melted, and I'm going to bring it over to the dough. I'm going to just take my hands and brush free some of that extra flour. I'm going to turn the dough a little bit and then get it ready for the butter. Just going to pour some butter on the top of that and brush a thin layer of butter on that to hold the sugar and cinnamon. The rest of the butter is going to be poured over the rolls once they're in the pan. And then I'm going to add my cinnamon sugar mixture, which is 1/4 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of cinnamon, and it's all mixed up there. And I'm just going to sprinkle that all over the top of the dough. Then on the long side, I'm going to tightly start rolling up this cinnamon roll. Trying to keep as much of that cinnamon sugar in there. As soon as that's all rolled up, I'm going to start pinching the length of it together just to seal up all that good stuff. And then I take my hands and I try to shape it into a nice cylinder again. Then I'm going to cut it into 12 pieces. I like the way the knife just sinks right through the dough at this point. Then I'm going to quickly turn these into the pan. Nothing's going to be wasted because after that cinnamon sugar leaks out, I'm going to pour that all over the top as well. It's already smelling really good. Trying to space these rolls in the pan also because they are going to rise and push into each other a bit. And do the same for the other pan. Collect more of that cinnamon sugar. And now here comes the rest of that butter. Makes it really tasty, but it also helps keep it really moist. I'm going to put these pans on a baking sheet, put a towel over them. They're going to rise one more time. So I've heated my oven to just warm to help them rise. And they're going to be in there for about 30 minutes. Okay, just a little ways to go. My company is really wanting cinnamon rolls, so they have taken their time to rise. Show that to you. With the rolls still out of the oven, I'm going to set it for 375 and wait for that to come to temperature and get the rolls in the oven to bake. They're going to bake for about 30 minutes. Okay, guests, it's almost ready. The house smells incredible. The noise is coming from my guests. They have had this before and they like it, so they can't wait to sink their teeth into it. So just turning them out on this cooling rack to air them out and let them breathe a little bit. See that beautiful steam. And I like to collect this crusty sugar cinnamon and just try to get that on top of at least a few. And this time I'm going to open one up, let you see it, and get my teeth into one of them. Okay, let's see how this tastes. It's so hot. But I like this crusty cinnamon sugar part, so let's see how this is. And it's really moist, you can tell how it pulls apart. Chewy and not gooey. Buttery. Cinnamony. Okay, we're gonna eat this now.